Fajitas, a very famous Mexican dish. I just love it. It makes me happy because it's so colourful, it's bright, and it's fast to put together. So I'm going to be using some sirloin steak. You could also use rump for this. You want something that's going to be tender and juicy. I've brought this out of the fridge. You don't want it to be too cold as you grill it, and I've preheated my grill. You can also do this on a barbecue. So into a bowl, we need to get the vegetables going. So just some classic ones with a fajita, which is a combination of some capsicum and just slicing this into strips. They can go into my bowl along with some green capsicum, and I just love the colour, so that's why I'm using both varieties, but if you want you could just use one. And some red onion, and I like a lot of onion for this. I keep thinking of doing this in summer when you char grill it on the barbecue. I just love the smell of barbecued onions. So cutting them into wedges, and I'm going to use up the whole onion for this recipe. Okay, I'm going to add some cumin, so just 1 teaspoon of cumin, along with some dried oregano, a good pinch of that. And as always, a good pinch of salt, some freshly cracked pepper, and just to bind everything together, some olive oil. So good drizzle of olive oil. And you can notice I'm doing this in the bowl before I add it to the grill. I don't want to be adding it to the grill and then drizzling oil. It's just not going to evenly distribute amongst all of the vegetables. While I've got my extra virgin olive oil in my hand, I'll drizzle that over my steak. And we just want a thin film of oil for that. Also some salt. And we'll just pat that all over the meat. Okay, so I'll start with the vegetables. You want to give them a really good toss so everything's coated in the cumin, the oregano and the salt. We'll pop them on one side. And you want to spread it out so each vegetable does touch the grill so we get those lovely char marks. I'll add my sirloin steak now. And you can see it's not too thick, and I like mine to be quite pink in the centre. So this is probably going to take about 2 minutes on each side and then allow it to rest. So some guacamole, a lovely ripe avocado here. You can see that it's ripe because you just have to touch the top of the avocado. Nothing worse than going to the shop and pressing on the centre of the body of it. By doing that, you're actually ruining it and you're bruising it for the person that actually does take it. So just a little avocado etiquette there. Sharp knife will cut that straight through the centre. And I want to leave this quite chunky, so we're going to cut that down into 3 and then big squares. I'll grab a spoon and we'll just take all of that out. Now you could add some chili to your guacamole. I've got some Tabasco, so we'll add a few little drops of that. And lots of lime here, a good hit of lime for some freshness. So this one's quite juicy, so I'll only need half of it for this, and I'll reserve the other half for the pico de gallo. And then just with a fork, you just want to break it up a few times, not over mixing it. I don't want it to look like a puree. I think if you've got just lovely fresh avocados, you want to show that they're fresh. So I want to see the 2 colours, the pale green and the dark green. So just a few gestures and a mix and a few more. And then I want to leave it like that, so super chunky. We'll pop that to one side. Now for the pico de gallo, I'll give myself a head start here. This is tomatoes and some onion, and same theme as the avocado, some lime. So good squeeze in there. Also some salt, and you can't forget the coriander, so 1 or 2 sprigs. And I'm just going to use all of this coriander, stalks and all, so much flavour in the whole lot. And we'll finally chop it. We'll just fold that through the tomatoes and the pico de gallo is done. All right, let's turn this steak. Oh, beautiful char marks. That's what I'm after. And for these veggies, we're going to turn them. And you can see we've got some good colour on them too. Great, well the steak's going to come off in about 30 seconds. I'm going to allow it to rest. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare some of my tortillas. Now, I like wheat tortillas. These ones are quite soft, they're perfect and pliable. And when you're preparing these tortillas, you don't need to put them in the oven or put a little oil on it, just a nice dry pan on a medium heat, and we'll pop them in there, 1 minute on each side. And if you want to keep them warm, just pop them into a clean tea towel. Okay, tortillas have warmed up. See how soft they are? And we'll just keep them warm for a moment as we start to dress the plates. So these gorgeous veggies, the capsicum and the onions, see how they've softened and they've charred? That's just loads of flavour there. So we'll place them into a bowl. And I like to serve this on a big board. Everyone can help themselves at the table. If they want more capsicum, they can. If they want more guacamole, they can also serve themselves with that. So we'll just place that in a decorative bowl, something quite pretty and colourful. And our pico de gallo, we'll place that in this bowl too. See, it's all coming together now. Some extra lime. And now for the steak. Do let it rest. It's just going to be so much juicier. And we'll cut that on an angle. And you want the slices to be quite thin because you're going to be placing this in the tortillas. You don't want to bite into it and then all the steak comes out. So really thin slices. And also a little trick is if you've got one steak like this, the thinner you slice it, the more it's going to feed because people aren't inclined to take big chunks of it. So small slices. Oh, and look how perfectly cooked that is. Blushing in the centre, just the way I like it. And we'll just pick that up with our knife. Place that onto our chopping board. And warm tortillas on the side. You know, you've probably heard of Taco Tuesdays. This is Fajita Friday. I like the sound of that.